The Douglas XB-42 Mixmaster was an experimental bomber aircraft, designed for a high top speed. The unconventional approach was to mount the two engines within the fuselage, driving a pair of contra-rotating propellers mounted at the tail in a pusher configuration, leaving the wing and fuselage clean and free of drag-inducing protrusions. Two prototype aircraft were built, but the end of World War II changed priorities, and the advent of the jet engine gave an alternative way toward achieving high speed. Design and development. The XB-42 was developed initially as a private venture. An unsolicited proposal was presented to the United States Army Air Forces in May 1943. This resulted in an Air Force contract for two prototypes and one static test airframe, the USAF seeing an intriguing possibility of finding a bomber capable of the Boeing B-29 Superfortress's range without its size or cost. The aircraft mounted a pair of Allison V1710-125 liquid-cooled V12 engines behind the crew's cabin, each driving one of the twin propellers. Air intakes were in the wing leading edge. The landing gear was tricycle, and a full, four-surface cruciform tail was fitted, whose ventral fin/rudder unit prevented the coaxial propellers from striking the ground. The pilot and co-pilot sat under twin bubble canopies, and the bombardier sat in the extreme front behind a plexiglass nose. Defensive armament was two 0.50 in, 12.7 mm, machine guns each side in the trailing edge of the wing, which retracted into the wing when not in use. These guns were aimed by the co-pilot through a sighting station at the rear of his cockpit. The guns had a limited field of fire and could only cover the rear, but with the aircraft's high speed it was thought unlikely that intercepting fighters would be attacking from any other angle. Two more guns were fitted to fire directly forward. Initially ordered as an attack aircraft, XA-42, in the summer of 1943, this variant would have been armed with 16 machine guns or a 75 mm, 2.95 in, cannon and two machine guns. Operational history. The first XB-42 was delivered to the USAF and flew at Palm Springs, California on May 6, 1944. Performance was excellent, being basically as described in the original proposal, as fast or faster than the de Havilland Mosquito but with defensive armament and twice the bomb load. The twin bubble canopies proved a bad idea as communications were adversely affected and a single bubble canopy was substituted after the first flight. Testing revealed that the XB-42 suffered from some instability as excessive yaw was encountered, as well as vibration and poor engine cooling, all problems that could probably have been dealt with. Due to the ventral vertical stabilizer and rudder surface sets tip being located underneath the fuselage, careful handling during taxiing, takeoff, and landing was required because of limited ground clearance. The end of World War II allowed the Air Force to consider possibilities with a little more leisure, and it was decided to wait for the development of better jet bombers rather than continue with the B-42 program. In December 1945, Captain Glenn Edwards and Lieutenant Colonel Henry E. Worden set a new transcontinental speed record when they flew the XB-42 from Long Beach, California to Bolling Air Force Base in Washington, D.C., c. 2,300 miles. In just 5 hours, 17 minutes, the XB-42 set a speed record of 433.6 miles per hour, 697.8 kilometers per hour. The record-breaking XB-42 prototype had been destroyed in a crash at Bolling Field. The second of two prototypes of the Douglas XB-42, 43 to 50,225, on a routine flight out of Bolling Field, Washington, D.C., suffered in short order, a landing gear extension problem, failure of the port engine, and as coolant temperatures rose, failure of the starboard engine. Major Haydock bailed out at 1,200 feet, Lieutenant Colonel Haney at 800 feet, and pilot Lieutenant Colonel, later Major General, Fred J. Ascaney, after crawling aft to jettison the pusher propellers, at 400 feet all three survived. The aircraft crashed at Oxon Hill, Maryland. Classified jettisonable propeller technology caused a problem for authorities in explaining what witnesses on the ground thought was the aircraft exploding. Possible fuel management problems were speculated, but this hypothesis was never proven by subsequent investigation. The remaining prototype was used in flight test programs, including fulfilling a December 1943 proposal by Douglas to fit uprated engines and underwing Westinghouse 19XB-2A axial flow turbojets of 1,600 lbf, 7.1 knots, thrust each, making it the XB-42A. In this configuration, it first flew at Muroc, now Edwards Air Force Base, on May 27, 1947. In testing, it reached 488 miles per hour, 785 kilometers per hour. After 22 flights, the lower vertical stabilizer and rudder were damaged in a hard landing in 1947. The XB-42A was repaired but never flew again, and was taken off the U.S. Air Force inventory on June 30, 1949. Aircraft disposition: 43 to 50,224, in storage awaiting restoration in the restoration hangar at the National Museum of the United States Air Force in Dayton, Ohio. The prototype was struck off charge in 1949 and was given to the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C., in whose care it remains, although it has never been placed on display. The wings were removed for transport but have since been lost. In late 2010, the fuselage was transferred, along with the Douglas XB-43 Jetmaster, to the National Museum of the United States Air Force in Dayton, Ohio, where they are awaiting restoration in the restoration hangars. Once completed, they will be displayed in the museum's experimental aircraft hangar. 43 to 50,225, crashed at Bolling Field. Specifications: XB-42. General characteristics. Crew: 1, pilot. Length: 53 feet 8 in, 16.36 m. Wingspan: 70 feet 6 in, 21.49 m. Height: 18 feet 10 in, 5.74 m. Wing area: 555 sq fort, 51.6 square meters. Empty weight: 20,888 pounds, 9,475 kilograms. Max takeoff weight: 35,702 pounds, 16,194 kilograms. Power plant: 2 times Allison V1710-125 liquid-cooled V12 engines, 1,325 HP, 988 kilowatts, each. Performance: maximum speed, 410 miles per hour, 660 kilometers per hour, 356 knots, at 23,440 feet, 7,140 m. Range: 1,800 miles, 1,564 nmi, 2,897 kilometers. Ferry range: 5,400 miles, 4,692 nmi, 8,690 kilometers. Service ceiling: 29,400 feet, 9,000 m. Power/mass: 0.16 HP/lb. Armament: guns: 6 times .50 in, 12.7 mm, machine guns, 2 in twin rear-firing turrets and 2 fixed forward-firing. Bombs: 8,000 pounds, 3,600 kilograms, in internal bay. Roll medium bomber. Manufacturer: Douglas Aircraft Company. First flight May 6, 1944. Status cancelled in 1948. Primary users: United States Army Air Forces, intended. United States Air Force, intended. Number built to. Unit cost: $13.7 million for the program, including B-43. Developed into Douglas XB-43 Jetmaster. Douglas DC-8, piston airliner.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.